Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. You know, when the SNP have an idea, it's not always bad. Sometimes it's terrible. And it's not just terrible in one thing, it's terrible in all things. And one of the really bad ideas by Humza Yousaf when he was Justice Secretary was the brilliant genius idea of giving prisoners phones. That's going to work out really well. He was thinking, oh yes, these are reasonable people. They can use their phones to get hold of their families and keep in touch and blah, 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 blah. No, he was forgetting the very basic premise. These are criminals. What do you think they're going to do with these phones? And that's after you consider that it was £6 million up the Swanee. The correct procedure is they do not get phones. They do not have contact. You know, you control the prisoners. And, oh, look, their lives are a little bit miserable. Well, you know, 2 words for that. Tough shit. They've made other people's lives miserable. It's only fair that theirs are become increasingly intolerable. That's what you go to prison for. It's meant to be a punishment, not a bloody holiday camp. Now, he handed them over, thinking about, there's all this family life stuff, but they've planned murders. They've continued their little drug empires. They've been sitting there nice and safe, 3 meals a day, looked after, best medicine. Oh, yeah, we'll do that deal. We'll cut that deal. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. They're still running their businesses, their little empires. This £6 million scheme to be humanitarian has turned into an absolute farce that's only enabled prisoners who've been caught breaking the law to continue breaking the law. And nobody has the balls to stop it. It's a joke. Now, it's just total abuse of the system, of course. Now, obviously, these things have come to light before, and there's been reports, and there's been something like 8,000 breaches of the law involving mobile phones that they know of. So undoubtedly, it's 10 times higher than that, what they don't know of. But now it's been revealed that the prisoners themselves, dozens, hundreds possibly, have been making unwanted connections and contact with either the victims or the witnesses, or even just general members of the public. And this is just in 1 year. 1 single year. They're sending messages or they're making phone calls. They're intimidating people. They shouldn't be having that right. Now, theoretically, the phones are controlled and they have so many numbers pre-programmed in. Friends, family, lawyers, things like that. But apparently it takes sometimes as long as 30 seconds to jailbreak the phones. Oh, yeah, whatever. Boom, 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 boom. Or not even that long. And so they get this phone. Oh, yes, it's got my 5 plugged in numbers. Got my mum, my dad, my brother, my lawyer, and then whatever. Of course it isn't. These things are broken and boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, bang, they're out there and they're ringing everybody and all and sundry. Now, this is every jail in Scotland. The prison officers don't have the willingness to remove the phones because they know if they start removing the phones, there'll be a riot, and they haven't got the numbers of prison officers to quell a riot. I mean, it would end up with prison officers, if not seriously injured, possibly killed when a riot goes on. And so they're forced, even when they find out that these prisoners are doing this illegally, to let them carry on doing it. They literally cannot do anything. This is from the likes of... This is Humza Yousaf's genius mind again. Do you remember let's freeze council tax because I've got nothing else going on? Well, this was another one of those, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got to do something. Otherwise, people will forget that I'm Justice Secretary. People like Humza Yousaf need to have an IQ test. Literally have to have an IQ test. And when I say people like Humza Yousaf, I don't mean any ethnicity. I mean politicians. Politicians all need to have an IQ test. And if their IQ is low, they should be disbarred from office. Give them options. Here are your options. Would you do in this situation A, B, C, D, or E? And then test them. and then say, you're not fit to be in office. And if that was the case, 90% of them would be out looking for a job. They wouldn't get one, though. Most of them are unemployable. But they were going on, oh, but it's human rights. It's not human rights. Allowing prisoners to abuse witnesses and victims is not human rights. It's human fucking wrongs. And what about the human rights of the victims? Humza Yousaf is an appalling, terrible excuse of a human being. He's failed in every single job he's ever had. He cannot point back at the end of his life and say, that was a success. He just can't. Nothing he's done has ever worked, because he is as a failure as a human being, a failure as a minister, a failure as a first minister. He's probably a failure as a husband. I don't know. But nothing has gone right for him. Not one success. And then he gets things like this, which are just appallingly bad. What is actually wrong with these people? What goes on in there that's broken enough to think these things are a good idea? I haven't got a clue. You tell me. Thanks a lot. Bye.